Hi everybody, this is Property with Leonard and welcome to another episode. Now on this channel we discuss property, finance and investments. Now please note that none of my videos constitutes as financial advice, but if you are looking for financial advice, please speak to an accredited and registered financial advisor. Now I've had numerous inquiries regarding rentals, etc. since property prices have drastically increased over the past couple of years. Many opt to rent, and if you are a long-time property renter, you will know that a number of things could go wrong if you aren't familiar with the process or are aware of the possible mistakes that one could make when entering into a lease agreement, of course. Now in this episode, I'm going to share with you five of the most common mistakes renters make, and hopefully help you avoiding making the same mistakes. Now preventing, as they say, and in this case is not just better than cure, it's also cheaper than cure. And that's why it's important to ensure that your renting experience is a pleasant one for both of you, you and the landlord, of course. By avoiding these mistakes and respecting the rental process, you are largely guaranteed a healthy rental relationship with your landlord and a pleasant living experience for however long you call your rental home. Now I've just recently recorded an episode titled 5 things to check before renting a property, and I would advise that you go watch that episode and watch it in full in conjunction with this one. And if you haven't watched it already, I'm going to leave a link to that episode in the description below, or you can just click on the banner on top. It should take you there. The first mistake to avoid is signing the lease agreement without reading it, or not reading through it carefully. Failing to read through the lease before signing it is probably the worst mistake you can make. This is a legal and binding document, and just like with any other legal document, it is worth scrutinizing the fine print to make sure what was agreed upon is what you are legally agreeing to, if that makes sense to you. Make sure that the terms stipulated are correct. Firstly, especially when it comes to, and you need to take note, the details such as the moving in date, length of the lease. These are pretty obvious things, but you need to double check. Monthly rental amount, what the rental amount includes. These things sound pretty basic, and they are, but you'd be surprised as to how many times that these basic things are overlooked or just blindly accepted and being ignored. You know, desperation has the tendency to cloud one's judgment and rationale. So be careful. Just to add, if you do need to make any changes, make sure that this is done before you sign on the dotted line, or if these changes will occur afterwards, you need to sign next to it, or initial next to it, if there's a managing agent, and of course the owner as well. So just make sure that you dot all the I's and cross all your T's. Another common mistake is not documenting existing damage prior to moving in to this new property. Now before moving in, it's important to conduct a proper walkthrough and make a note of any pre-existing damage or potential issues in some, we call it a snag list. Now I've dealt with this point quite extensively in a previous video, and I'll leave a link to that episode once again in the description below, or as you know by now, you can just click on the banner on top. It should take you there. And while you're at it, can I just remind you to please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to like this video and all those other good things. The reason this is so important is not only can any areas of concern be addressed and fixed before you move in, it's always before you move in, it prevents any existing damage being unfairly deducted from your security deposit when the time comes for you to move out. Now, be sure to take photos for documentation purposes and provide copies to your landlord so that they are made aware of all and any other issues beforehand. And if you pick up something once you've moved in, I mean, you've done the checklist, sent through, now you moved in, inform the landlord and or managing agent immediately, and be sure to document it once again. Don't make the mistake of renting the property unseen. You'd be surprised While this seems like an obvious mistake to avoid, some renters are tempted to go by what they see advertised without checking out the property in person first. This is extremely ill-advised and can lead to some unpleasant surprises at best, and at worst, the very real risk of falling prey to professional con artists and scammers. That's the other reality. Always be sure to view a property. You need to view a property before signing a lease to make sure that you know firsthand what you're getting yourself into. Don't assume that the landlord will fix everything. Don't assume that the landlord is entirely responsible for the upkeep and the maintenance of the property either. And you can just, you might think you can just sit back and relax, no effort, no responsibility. And this is unfortunately, it's not necessarily the case. It's therefore important to check your lease agreement for clarity, because you need to know what the landlord is and isn't responsible for, and it needs to be clearly stipulated in the rental agreement. Lastly, don't make the mistake by not familiarizing yourself with the rules. Now, over and above the stipulations set out in the lease, most properties on estates, for instance, and in complexes or apartment blocks, for that matter, come with a set of body corporate or home owner rules that renters need to comply with once they are living on the property. Now, a common mistake that renters make in this regard is trying to sneak in silly things, a pet, without getting the okay from the landlord and or the governing body. Some renters even go as far as sneaking in a pet when the rules clearly state that they are prohibited. Now, doing this, and you need to understand, it is very risky, and you not only run the risk of getting caught and fined, but such a violation could be grounds for eviction. And similarly, subletting the property without consent can be a serious violation of the rules. So be sure to request a copy from your landlord once you've settled in of the rental agreement, and just to make sure that, once again, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. I sincerely hope that the information that I've shared with you in this episode will be helpful and prevent you from making these common rental mistakes. Thank you so much, everybody, for once again joining me on today's episode. Now, if this episode was of value to you, can I kindly ask you, if you haven't, to please subscribe to my channel, to like this video, all those good things, and to share it, and leave me a comment in the comment section below. Those things are good for the YouTube algorithms, and that way we would grow and we would be able to reach more people who you and I both know would be able to benefit from the contents of these videos. Now, 3 things. Firstly, I have a join button. If you would like to join this channel, you can just check there on the bottom. If you would like to join the channel, there are extra perks for members. And then also there's a thank you button. If you would like to financially contribute to this channel, you are welcome to do so. And thank you so much for those of you who have done so. I really, really appreciate that. That motivates me to make more quality content, like what I've shared with you in this episode. And then thirdly, of course, if you want to subscribe but you don't know how to, it is really easy. 2 things. Firstly, you can click the subscriber button in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. And the second thing is, please don't forget to hit the all notifications, and that way you would be notified and you won't miss out whenever I upload new videos. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay blessed.